This is a story of redemption as only a fishing community can do. This is such an inspiring story. You may have heard that the fishermen of Ilwaco Landing, Washington, recently suffered a huge loss when thousands of crab gear that was staged for the season opener was completely torched. We're talking 6,000 to 8,000 crab pots were up in flames. And, what do fishing families do at times like this? Well, this story is incredible. Not only were they able to recover the gear or have it replaced, they were able to raise over $100,000 in less than a week. The fishermen were ready to go a couple days before the opener, and that is just incredibly unheard of. Can you even imagine going from thinking the season, how are you going to survive? How are you going to make this season work to, wow, now we have to figure out a committee on how to distribute the funds because there's so much abundance here. And that is just such a beautiful reflection on not only our community, but the people who support the commercial fishing community. And so this is an inside look about us chat with me and Taunette Dixson, she's a part of the Newport Fisherman's Wife. Y'all know her, love her. If you've been listening to the podcast, we've had her on before. And she tells us the background story of how their group was able to rally with so many others to make this happen in less than a week. I still can't get over it. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And it just makes me so proud to be a part of this community. And it makes me so proud to know y'all. I just want to send my love. Here is the story of how we are freaking badass people. Let's do this. I'm Megan Waldrop, host of the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast, an extension of an online community created for partners to connect worldwide, find helpful resources, and share stories to feel less alone in this incredibly unique and adventurous way of life. The POCF podcast invites fishermen, family, friends, supporters, or those curious to know more about the commercial fishing community to join conversations as we learn from each other, laugh, sometimes cry, and relate with those who are the faces behind each catch. What do you say? Let's dive in. Yeah, I just kind of want to check in and say, wow, congratulations on all that y'all do. And thank you for all you do. I got a DM from my friend, Julie Kuchapatov, who is the founder of the Seafood and Gender Equality. She slid into my DMs and said, by the way, I heard that the Newport Fishermen's Wives help replace all this crab gear. That would be a great story. And I thought, hell yeah, it would be. I can't wait. So that's why I immediately texted you. And I'm just dying to hear about it. So tell me first of all, let's start. How was that day? How did you hear about it? And what was that day like?
So, and I think there's I think because we advocate so much that people feel like we do more than we do. We have a pretty good following. So when we have a group text, the board members. And so when we hear about something, we're instantly communicating. This is a little harder for us because we are a local nonprofit and we have, 7 board members and we have limitations. So each time something like this happens, we have to decide how are we going to help without losing our mission statement, which is, kind of a local seafood education. Well, that's not local, but helping fishing families. So this for us, I think really made us realize how it would be so nice if we had like a West Coast co-op of nonprofits that could communicate and help through these things. Because, we have these batches of nonprofits for the fishing industry up and down the coast, but we don't really, I communicate with all of them. At some point we're all friends, we all know each other, but I think that something like this, which was so huge, would have really helped if we had already a line of communication between all of us, because everybody goes to their local fishing advocate and asks, what can I do? What's going on? Sometimes I feel like we're the Google of the fishing industry, because I get phone calls all day long, and I love it because I love to help people to the best of my ability. I think with this, like, we all panicked because we're all fishermen. We all know what it's like right before the opener of crab season. Crab season, especially because there's such a big gap between the other seasons and crab season. And a lot of us, crab season is our season. That's when we make enough money to be able to afford to fish the rest of the year. You know, it all helps, but crab seasons really are feast or famine, our feast. So instantly we all had that pit in our stomach, like, oh, this is, I mean, you could lose your boat in a situation like this. So especially, you know, that first 2 weeks is the cream. It's the best fishing. You do sometimes over half of what you do for the whole season in those first 2 weeks. So the first thing that we're really lucky is we have a board member. It's our treasurer. Her name is Carrie Bramberg, and she was a crab broker for years. So she knows all the connections. She knows a lot of the crabbers by name. She knows these she knows people. So the first thing she started to do is make phone calls, like, who's kind of handling this, who on that end, what can we do, what do you need from us? And then we put up a post kind of trying to connect fishermen that can help with the people that did need help. And I think everybody was doing that. I think it was on a lot of, everybody was like, how can I help? Like, somebody would say, you can do that. It was just a lot of that. I have never seen a response like this. Like, I had retired fishermen. I had one gentleman, he was in Bellingham, and he said, I'm retired. I have arthritis. I can't do much fast, but I can do. And he drove down to Ilwaco and helped them repair. They got the gear. People in California were donating up from Washington to California, where trucks were coming in with gear. The problem was that gear wasn't ready for fishing. It needed the finishing touches, and a lot of them needed repairs. So there was a combination of people releasing gear, people were selling gear, and people were donating gear. I think a lot of gear got donated. So I guess that for the first day, our job was kind of who's picking up. We found a spot for people to donate gear, to drop it off. Our port is amazing, and they handled all that. And then we had a local fisherman, that John Wagner, that did all of the transportation. There was such a outpouring, especially from our community, because we've dealt with a lot in recent years. And so I think everybody felt the need to help. So just an outpouring of what can we do?
That was just so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the fact that people had truckloads from California driving up to Ilwaco says so much about our fishing industry, because I don't know any other fishing industry or any other industry that is so emotionally tied, yet they're all competitors. Like, when they're out fishing, they have this drive to catch the most and do the best. And then when there's something like this happens, it's like, we don't care. We just want our fellow fishermen to be able, we have so many deficits over the last few years. Fishing, especially small boats, they're barely hanging on. So I just think everybody that is able just stepped up and helped, which I loved. It wasn't, I just looked, they had a GoFundMe there locally. I just looked, it was up to $114,000. Like that's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but it wasn't us like taking charge and doing anything. It was just everybody. It was just everybody that kind of helped in the ways that they could. We had an emergency board meeting because this isn't really our jurisdiction. So we had to, as a board, decide what can we do. Can we make exceptions when it comes to things like this? Like, can we how can we help and kind of keep in our mission? So I loved that everybody was really passionate about it, and then all of a sudden everything just started happening, and we didn't really need to. Like everything, the first day was a panic because we really wanted. They had, I think, 6 days to replace that gear, which is crazy because it takes months to do it. But yeah, it was a lot of phone. I think I was on the phone more than I wasn't the first 2 days. And Carrie Brandberg, she did the bulk of the really hard stuff in as far as communication. So she was on the phone. Like it was just a lot of how can we help?
That's amazing. I watched the video that y'all posted on your Facebook page, bawling, crying, just
Yeah.
totally touched by, like you said, people coming from Bellingham, guy he never even knew, and
Yeah.
other fishermen, competitors coming together. And speaking of competitors too, because I looked at that GoFundMe and I was blown away that they had, like you said, $114,000 within a week. Okay.
I can guarantee that most of that is from their competitors. I'm sure there was donations from outside the industry, but the bulk of that came from competitors. And there was also there was women that drove down from Westport to make sandwiches for all the people volunteering their time. Like it was just this beautiful combination of people from all over the industry coming together to help in any way they could.
It's amazing. And I saw that the GoFundMe was put together by the Ilwaco Tuna Club. Is that correct? Which is actually a sport fishing club, which I was also surprised to see that.
So that was our issue at first, is like, okay, so when this first popped up, are we going to promote it? We don't even, that's the problem with helping outside your community. We're like, we don't even know who, is this legitimate? And of course, quickly after they put it up, we figured out it was very legitimate. So, and that helped because everybody wanted to donate. So we were trying to steer it to the right place. And that was definitely the right place because it took off.
It really did. I mean, and I saw also that, is it Zeke Estrella? Is that his name, or Estella? Am I having his name? I have his name wrong.
It's Zeke, and I have a little connection with him because I saw on one of the articles he was in that he talked about going down on a boat. That was my boat. I lost a boat during shrimp season about, oh gosh, probably 8 years ago. And he was one of the crew members. Like it was nobody got hurt. It was okay. But he was on. So that's how connected we are with all of these fishermen and all of these boats. Is we're a small community, the fishing industry, like really small community as far as the people that are there to help.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I read also that Zeke is on a board with the Ilwaco Tuna Club to make sure that, to figure out how the funds will be distributed. So it's not just the sport fishermen. They also have commercial fishermen on there.
Yeah.
It's really
incredible. And that's something, like all these funds are coming in, like it's tough to decide, how do we divide this up? And it's a lot. I love that it's a local group that knows these boats. They know the situation. So I feel like that's so much better than a group from Newport that doesn't understand what's going on. We aren't, eyes on. So
Yeah.
I love that this is a local group and this came together so quickly. Everything was so quick. Like the panic was there. So
Yeah, no, it's mind blowing. How far away is Ilwaco from Newport?
So Ilwaco is on the other side of Astoria. And Astoria, it's a like a 5 hour drive from us. We're mid coast, so it's a ways. It's quite a ways.
Wow. And so when y'all heard about it and you heard that it was in Washington and you said, what do we
Mm-hmm.
do to help? So
Mm-hmm.
what was it about this specific event that triggered for you guys to just get together with everyone else and figure out how to make this reverse it? How do we make this better?
I think it was a combination of things. I think that they are starting really late this year, and we've had that. We've had a February 1st starting, and by the time you're hitting February 1st, you are hurting, really hurting. So I think that everybody had the compassion there. And then the fact that it was 6 days before the opening, so there's no way they could have done this on their own. There is no way that a boat could replace 500, 300, 1,000, however many pots that boat lost. There is no way they could. It took literally months to get it to that point. So, yeah, I think that we just put ourselves in that place. And anytime there's anything that happens in the fishing community, like you just want to help. And I feel like it's something, and we talked about it. There's a real need because there's so many ports that don't have access to a nonprofit or some kind of group that is there for the commercial fishing industry. There's only a few scattered up and down the coast. So I think it might be at some point a conversation that we all need to have now that we have more communication abilities, that maybe we need to have a group where those ports that are not covered can come to. I mean, it's just so hard. It's really hard. Our group there's a lot of burnout because we do a lot, and throughout the year we're working on one project or another. So we're limited, and I really would like to either not be so limited or see a group that can be have easier access for these disasters.
Yeah, because I mean, just a little over a month ago, y'all were packing Christmas boxes of food and toys and clothes for fishing families and their children, and which is you do that every year. I hear, right? It's that.
Yep.
I mean, just constant outpouring of support for your community is just so inspiring. And so, okay, when it hit, did y'all? And you said it's not just you guys, like it's not just the Newport Fishermen's Wives.
Yeah.
So what role would you say that y'all played? Like if you could put a title to it, what would you say that y'all did?
I mean, I would say that there was a team, and we were just assisting in any way we can. What we saw we could assist in, we were assisting. That was the great thing about Carrie is she was able to call the person that the pots were coming to and find out, like, what do you need now? Like, what do we need to ask for? And literally, I think the first day or a day and a half, like they had every pot, every buoy, everything. Like people were still like calling, where can we drop them off? And like, they're like, we have it. We just need to get it together. So I think at that point, then we were just trying to assist in having hands there. So yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
So y'all were like the air traffic controllers to help get all the right people to the other people who needed
Yeah,
it.
not only like We Fish was working up in Washington, like there was I think that every little section of our coast kind of had a group that they were assisting. I think We Fish did. They were actually taking donations. They were the first to start finding a location, a dump spot for pots, so that people could take them to Ilwaco. So I think we followed their lead on a few things. So yeah,
Wow. I mean,
we just
bravo.
assisted how we could.
Yeah. And so what is the state right now in Ilwaco? How are the fishermen doing?
They're fishing. The dump day was yesterday. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm pretty sure like they also had to deal with the buoy tags, the crab tags. So the state of Washington had to figure that out. How do we replace those? Because they can't go fishing without those too. And it usually takes quite a while to replace them. So I think they quickened the process considerably for them.
Wow. Yeah. It's the little things you don't think about. It's like, yeah, there's a
Yeah.
trap, but then there's the line and then there's the buoy and then there's the tags, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
So the lines had to be cut on what depth, the buoys had to be painted, the boat color, the pots had to be re-netted, some of them. That like there was so much. They needed zincs, they needed, baiters, everything. So yeah, it
wow.
was a
And now,
lot.
wow. And now they're fishing. So time
Yeah.
stamping that. So they dropped the pots yesterday, which was January 29th. And then they can officially start pulling pots on the 1st of February. Is that correct?
I
Or they
think
can
so.
start baiting at the pots on the 1st. Is
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. I
Yeah,
believe
that's
so.
how it is in California. We can throw the pots in, we can't bait them until
Yeah.
the season starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So how can people support y'all? Like I mean, the Newport Fisherman's Wives, what do y'all need? What can we do to help support y'all moving forward?
Well, I mean, locally we love volunteers because I think in this era there's just less volunteers than there used to be. So, and COVID really hit us hard with that. But donations,
Mhm.
is what it takes to do what we do. We are really proud of the fact that we are a volunteer based group. So all of our positions are volunteer positions. So all of the money that comes to us, we are able to directly take that out and use it for our fishing families or for seafood education or whatever we're doing at the time. Our next project is we are working at the Newport Wine and Seafood. We haven't been there for a few years, but we're trying to get some seafood education out there, and we're gonna sell some yummy seafood, locally caught seafood.
Mhm.
But I think, like we just went through in November, we had our Fisherman's Appreciation, and we decided to turn it. In years, we have just done, we get them T-shirts and we feed them lunch and breakfast, and we do it down at the port. The port is a co-sponsor. And so all the guys working on grab gear, they're right there. And it's a lot of fun. We get face to face with the fishermen, which we don't get to do a whole lot. But this year we went all out, and so we had nurses there to give flu and COVID shots. We had a literacy program going on, so we had children's books free to take. We had a life jacket. We worked with Sea Grant and England Marine, and there was the life jacket. I can't even think of their name. Anyway, so we, between all of us, we were able to get a grant, and then we donated some money. So we were able to get out. I can't even remember how many. I know like 71 boats had people that got life jackets, and we asked for a donation of $25, but these are really expensive life jackets. They're built, they're slimmer, so they're safer to work out on the deck, and they're also very effective. So we were able to hand out. It was well over 100. I can't remember exactly how many. And then we had a group there to talk about recovery and addiction. We had the Coast Guard there. We had just so many different booths so that, you know, a lot of these guys, they don't have the time to make an appointment and know if they're going to show up for an appointment at the doctor's office, or, you know, I think that just having everybody there at a time where they're eating and have time to think about it was great. The ladies that chose to do this, I think it was fabulous, and we'll do it from now on. We will try and get as many resources there. We also did a salmon relief. We worked with the county and got a grant, and so we were able to give boats that weren't able to do the salmon season financial help, and the crew members that come off these boats, we were able to help them. So there's just all these different. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Y'all are incredible. I mean, it's like go big or go home. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that you guys were able to get not only a helicopter, a medevac helicopter service to Newport, but a helipad, all created just because of what you guys want for the fishing community and what you feel like they deserve. And it is
and the biggest thing is we, you know, I don't think, I mean, it was there for years. I wasn't a part of bringing it to Newport, but I was definitely a part of suing Homeland Security to keep it here. So I don't know how many small groups like us can file a federal injunction against the government and end up on the plus side of that. It doesn't happen very often. So I think that's our biggest achievement in the last few years. And I'm super proud of the ladies that fought hard to do that.
Oh, man. And so, okay. So just bravo again, a million times. And so if people want to donate, they can go to newportfishermanswives.com.
Yep.
And also they can reach out if they want to become involved with the group anytime.
Anytime.
Okay, great. What would you, if there a takeaway that you would like for people to know about this incredibly fast relief effort that was so successful that everybody came together, what would you like people to take away?
I don't know. I think that there's been so much negativity in our industry. I think we're all kind of fighting to keep our head above water. And I think then something like this happens. And you're like, this is what I love about this industry. Like, this is what has kept me kind of fighting for our families is just this outpouring of love from every community in the industry. So I just want to say how proud I am of the people that stepped up and worked hard and helped these boats be able to fish. I think they're all incredible. The people that made sandwiches, the people that repaired pots, the people that donated, you know, everybody that had a part of it. I am so impressed with the kindness they were showing to these fishermen in need.
Yeah, that is the word, kindness. It's so great. And so the women who did the sandwiches, because I saw that segment and I loved it. I also loved that I saw the kids in there helping out too, which is so touching. Were they fishing families, or are these people supporters of fishermen?
I'm not sure. They came from Westport. I know that. At least a group. I don't even know how many people came down to help in that aspect, but I know that a group from Westport came down. So I have a feeling they're probably fishing families. But there is, like, I had calls from sport fishermen. They're like, very gracious and very kind, didn't have the gear that we were looking for, but willing to donate whatever they had. Like it was not just in the industry, for sure. We got a lot of phone calls from people just wanting to help their fellow human being that was struggling.
Yeah. Oh, it's just beautiful. I mean, yeah, I was just, like you said, you know, we get hit with a lot, you know, it can be very overwhelming, and we feel we can be ignored by the government or even the public who's not buying, you know, domestic seafood and wild caught and things like that. But then something like this happens and you're like, yes, this is us. This is actually who we are. And it makes me proud to be a part of this community, and makes me so proud to know you. And thank you so much for your time for this quick and fast interview that
Anytime.
happened.
Love seeing you every time.
Oh, I love seeing you too, Taunette. And yeah, thanks. And whatever I can do to support, I'm going to be putting all of this out here as you know it. And just thank you for all you do.
Well, hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, me too. I hope so. All right. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. If you're looking for more one-on-one support from me, or you want to generally connect with other POCFs worldwide and see how they do what they do, what kind of experiences they go through, you've got to try and join our private forum. Not just try, you got to join it. We want you. The private forum is filled with POCFs worldwide, also with monthly Zoom chats. We have private podcasts and resources, and it's a growing bank of juiciness for you. Every month, there's something new, always something going on. And not only that, it's the place that you can rely on, whether it's you're having a great season or maybe the season's not doing so great. So we can all relate. That's fishing, right? It's not called catching, it's called fishing. And we're the people that understand. We're the ones that you can vent to, you can laugh with, and we're not going to judge you for it. It doesn't matter if you've been with your fisherman for a day, 2 days, or a decade or many decades. We have POCFs in there that have been with their fishermen for over 40 years. We have total greenhorns that are there just figuring it out. And we can all relate on this one beautiful lifestyle, unique lifestyle that nobody else can understand except us. So if you would love to join, as we would love to have you, you can go to meganwaldrop.com/private-forum and learn all about how you can join our crew. Hope to see you in there. Thank you so much for being here. Your downloads, your reviews mean more than you know, because that's how we know that you are enjoying the podcast. And if you'd like to further support the community, you can tap the subscribe button, share with family and friends, post on socials, or write a review. But you know what? As long as you're getting value, that is all that matters. But if you go that extra step, we truly, truly appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're a partner of a commercial fisherman looking for more resources on how to navigate this unique lifestyle, from long distance dating to communication to finances to motherhood advice to mental health, safety, you know, all the things. We're building more resources on succession planning and retirement. It's going to be amazing. There's even an option to join the private forum as well if you jump onto POCFpride.com to learn more. We are there for you. We got all of the community and all of the resources you need, and they are continuing to grow as we learn what you need the most. We can't wait to connect with you, and thank you so much again for being here. Thanks for listening today. Being here means you're a part of the POCF family, and we wouldn't be a community without you. I'm Megan, and this is the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast. As always, much love, POCF pride, and remember, you are not alone.